Yeah, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with yet another crazy fun build in Outward. This time around, we are boosting our lightning damage to become the ultimate Storm Paladin. Combine your runes together to create powerful storms compressed into small balls of electricity. Throw these across the map at anything that moves. With loads of mana and excellent armor, we can attack from really far away while also being decently resistant to attacks. Here is how you can become the ultimate champion of Elat and finally put an end to those horrific Scourge monsters. The 3 skill trees we want to take are Rogue Engineer, Wild Hunter, and Rune Sage. Rogue Engineer is needed for the breakthrough, allowing us to wear our backpack and still dodge without being slowed. Wild Hunter is for much more aggressive gameplay with Predator Leap. We do get more health with this tree as well, which is nice, but that Predator Leap skill is by far the highlight, allowing us to jump into battle, getting this started with high impact, or finishing off an enemy with one last fell swoop. Rune Sage will be needed as it's our primary source of damage. We want Runic Prefix at the very top because it offers much more defense when using Runic Protection or blue than purple runes. The Lightning Blast also gains more lightning damage, allowing it to destroy monsters quickly. You'll need to cast green then blue to get the Runic Lantern, and then green then red will send a ball of electricity across the screen. It has huge range. It can even be used without lock-on to devastate opponents nowhere near you. This attack is the theme for this build, considering it is a storm of lightning formed into one orb-like mass. For our helmet, we want the white wide hat. Take a wide black hat bought from the alchemist in Berg and place it into a legacy chest. Out comes an excellent hat that looks good and contains amazing stats. We need it for the 10% lightning damage bonus and negative 20% mana cost. Typically, these wide hats have the best mana cost reduction for hats in Outward, making this option really strong for us. The chestplate we want will of course be silver armor bought in Monsoon. Not only is this one of the best armor pieces in the game as it provides excellent defense, but it can also be enchanted with Spirit of Monsoon, granting us 25% more lightning damage. It looks really good and is really hard not to use with any lightning build. The boots we'll grab are the Gold Lich boots. You'll need to defeat the Gold Lich in order to obtain these, but a horror weapon makes that job a lot easier. On top of this, these boots are insane for any mage build, offering good defense to the lightning and negative 15% mana cost. You will also want to enchant these with Flux, granting a small amount of movement speed and plus 5% lightning damage. I forgot about this enchant when I made the build, but since the stats are minimal, the result will only be slightly improved. The weapons for this build are Lightmender's Lexicon, as it provides more lightning damage and some extra mana cost reduction. There is an enchant for this item granting it 0.1 mana regen, but unfortunately it's a Caldera enchant. So grab it if you can, but very end game. Then we want a Gold Lich Mace. This is an item you can easily craft early on if you use traps against those lightning golems. It actually looks like a pelvis if you really look at it, which is kind of funny. But there are several reasons to use this guy on top of this. If you take the Holy Mission faction quest, you will eventually enter a Lotus Flower to talk to some fanatic priests. If they turn against you, an NPC named Sorin will assist you in their demise. He uses a two-handed mace and can teach you the skill for that weapon type. But, for some reason, in this specific fight, he uses a one-handed Gold Lich Mace. Since he is the most paladin-like character in the game, literally stopping two armies from fighting each other, it fits the theme. It also has high durability, which makes using Predator Leap much less punishing. And lastly, it inflicts Doomed. This will weaken enemies to lightning damage by 25% after 3 hits. Applying this makes weaker enemies die instantly to one lightning ball, and allows us to kill harder enemies efficiently with this ability as well. Our backpack of choice for this character is the Lightmender's Backpack. It offers 10% more lightning damage to the character while also having a really slick design. When using this backpack, you are unfortunately slowed with an impeded dodge roll, which makes it hard to use on most builds. Luckily, we are taking Rogue Engineer so that we can keep the damage bonus during combat, as that tree lets us use any backpack with an unimpeded dodge roll. At this point, I'm sure you can guess how much mana to use here. 3 points is perfect, giving us around 120 mana in the end. Enough to use regularly, but do craft plenty of mana potions as no mana regen will run you dry after several fights. No Paladin build is complete without taking the Holy Mission faction quest. It offers the most rewards to the player and honestly provides stats we cannot part with. I'll display all the rewards on screen here, but the big ones to notice are an extra 20 decay resistance, meaning decay attacks do very little to us, negative 10% stamina and mana cost, meaning we don't get any extra lightning damage, but being able to cast spells more often and run around longer is more important to me. Infuse Light is also collected from this faction, meaning you can buff your melee weapon pretty well if you want to melee more often. The best thing about this Storm Paladin build is that it's yet another very simple rune build. You'll be using the green then red combination 90% of the time to attack from far away. Additionally, this mid to long range combo can get most enemies into a loop. Since we can infinitely dodge thanks to Rogue Engineer, you simply cast runes until the enemy is close enough, dodge, and then continue casting runes. If you do this often enough, enemies like shell horrors will run at you with a quick lunge attack. And that's all they'll do, making it much easier to read attacks and get off your lightning in the process. If you would like to maximize your potential, here is the order in which you should approach combat. Activate the Decay boon, Blessed boon, and Enrage boon. This will allow you to be extremely resistant to any decay attack. It will also increase your lightning damage and give you the ability to use Predator Leap. A major problem with the Gold Lich Mace is that it has low impact and is very slow, which means you can't knock over enemies instantly. To get around this, we start the battle off with Predator Leap, follow it up with Push Kick, and you'll be able to attack without needing to block. You can also use Brace if the enemy does attack you to protect yourself and impact them greatly. The important thing to note here is that 3 mace hits is required. This applies that 25% weakness to lightning. Once that's applied, you can run back and blast with the lightning. Like I said, it's not necessary, because the lightning is so strong, but if it makes enemies die quicker, you might as well be using it. Runic Protection will need to be up 24/7 to grant you excellent defense and be there for a quick heal when you need it. The Lightning Ball ability does require Runic Lantern to use, but funnily enough, it usually shoots in a straight line. So you don't even have to lock on and can line up the lantern with an enemy. Do this well enough and you can get 2 or 3 electric storms off before the enemy even gets near you. It's actually quite fun to see if you can hit your opponents without the auto target you get when locked on. In caves, this is less useful, but in the open world, it trivializes almost every enemy because they have no health once they can actually attack you. I wanted to make this Lightning Ball skill usable as a main ability. Since it is so ridiculously fun to use and really cool, you can use it for an entire playthrough and never get bored. Additionally, there are not that many enemies with lightning resistance, making this quite useful. If you are worried about facing lightning enemies, you can always make a Horror Mace as backup, being one of the easiest weapons to craft in Outward and still holding its own until end game. This is always an S tier backup. In fact, it makes the Lightmender fight a joke, seeing as he is so weak to decay damage. When you get down to it, this is a magical paladin with the power of intense storms. Taking 2 skill trees for support rather than only 1 offers something unique. Join me as one of many Rune Sage fanatics and storm the world with a power so pure it rivals nature itself. Become the Storm Paladin and never look back. Thanks for watching everyone, and I will catch you next time.